The Indian manufacturing sector is booming like never before. Exports to the United States have surged 44% over the last 5 years, while China's slumped by 10%. Does this mean India is winning the manufacturing war with China? Is Beijing losing its crown? It's a $23 billion surge in Indian exports to America, a clear indication that India is awakening as a true manufacturing giant and realizing its potential. This is a nightmare scenario for Beijing. But can India really replace China as the epicenter of the global supply chain anytime soon? The study, Harnessing the Tectonic Shifts in Global Manufacturing, sheds light on the transformation in manufacturing and sourcing across various industries. Over the last 5 years, semiconductor and material shipments from India to the US increased by 143%. Meanwhile, China's exports in these sectors fell by 29%. Furthermore, from 2018 to 2022, US imports of mechanical machinery from China dropped by 28%, but increased 70% from India, 61% from ASEAN, and 21% from Mexico. Furthermore, in the same period, US product imports from China plummeted 10%, but increased 44% from India, 18% from Mexico, and 65% from ASEAN. Polished diamonds, pharmaceutical products, jewelry, light oils and petroleum, frozen shrimp are major exports from India to the US, while major imports from the United States include petroleum, rough diamonds, liquefied natural gas, gold, coal, almonds, waste and scrap. So what's driving the US shift in imports from China towards India? Considering factors like labor costs, logistics, productivity, tariffs and energy, the average cost of Indian-made items imported to the US is 15% lower than the cost of goods manufactured inside the United States, reports Boston Consulting Group. Chinese goods, on the other hand, offer only a 4% cost advantage over US-made items and are in fact 21% more expensive when exposed to US tariffs due to the ongoing trade war. Was there any special factor in driving the Indian export surge to the US? The pharmaceutical industry is one big factor. The Indian pharmaceutical companies supply an immense quantity of generic drugs to the US. The COVID-19 pandemic raised demand for medicines in the US. Moreover, pandemic lockdowns have highlighted the need for a new global supply chain, less reliant on China. But what is the reason behind dipping Chinese exports to the US? The continued trade disputes over tariffs between the US and China have disrupted trade flows. Tariffs imposed by the Trump administration on about 2/3 of Chinese imports have reduced the amount of new purchases. Wages for Chinese industrial employees have risen, weakening the country's economic advantage. Chinese President Xi Jinping's state-centric economic agenda, related crackdowns on private firms, and reluctant approach to Biden administration have chilled commercial ties even further. Concerns over product quality and safety have hampered Chinese exports to the US in several scenarios. All this is good news, but India has a long way to go yet to be at par with China. In terms of absolute numbers, the gap is significant. In 2022, Indian exports to the US were $80 billion, which is significant. However, Chinese exports to the US stood at $582 billion, nearly 7 times greater. However, the last 5 years have shown India is ready to claim a larger share in the global export market. The new India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor also promises to reshape Indian manufacturing and export landscape, making the South Asian superpower a central pillar of the global supply chain.